Alright, we're back. Let me get some room. Didn't move these out yet. Let me move these too. Okay. Get some working room. This we might need. We are missing the clutch assembly still, so we got half of it. We need the basket and the pressure plate. We got the springs. We got a couple different springs. So we're missing some stuff. Alright. We got to figure out we've got some hardware here. So a lot of people are leaving comments. They don't know where all these parts go, and they wonder why I know where all the parts go. Well, I've worked on these before. Maybe that has some reason to do with it. So the way you figure out what kind of parts you have, you look at them. Obviously, all this big stuff, you can tell a lifter block and a rocker shaft and a rocker arm. But there's 4 different rocker arms. How do you know which one's which? Well, put them all out. Look at them. That's how you tell the difference. So you got lefts and rights. See, the lefts and rights. There you go. And that's how you break them up. Then you have oil hole and no oil hole. See, the oil has been filled in. So there's your other two. So there's 4 different ones. Now you can put them anywhere you want. It doesn't really matter. This puts oil on the valve to help lubricate it. Now is it on the exhaust or the intake? I don't remember. On my race bike, I put oilers on all of them. If you're going to buy new arms, you might as well buy the ones with the oiler, and just oil over lubrication is not going to hurt you. Basically, it probably goes on the exhaust because the exhaust runs hot and they want to get more oil on there, would be my guess. The way I look at it, the intake's up high, it's not getting oil. The other one gets splashed, lubricated from the other one, so technically the intake needs more oil on it, but it doesn't really make that big a difference. The boxes are kind of internally. Actually, I think these don't go through. Yeah, Chevrolets go through. Yeah, these don't go through. Yeah, whatever you got on one, that's all you got. So I'm gonna guess they're supposed to be on exhaust. But you know, I put them on all of them. You want to check your ball sockets to make sure they're good. And make sure your rocker tips aren't worn too bad. See, that's got double flat spot in it. See how this one just got one long one. See how this one doesn't have any of it. And this one here looks, it's trying to get a flat spot, but not too bad. So I regrind these tips. As long as they're not pitted out, you can regrind them. This one's worn the worst is on this one. Bushings you can't really tell if they're bad or not. If they make noise, they're bad. If they don't make noise, they're good. I replace them every one, so I don't have to worry about it. I put new ones on every one, they're all good. Being loose or tight makes no difference. It's how they wear. The shafts, you measure them. If they're out of round, they're usually not too good. If they got a lot of rust pitting in them, that's not good. If they're all seized up, that's not good. If they got the big hole in them, that's 71 and later. If you got the small hole in it, it's 70 and earlier. They're interchangeable. The hardware is not. The aftermarket, they only make the one. If you have the early one, it's a 2-piece. There's a bushing and a shaft, and they move. And the oil gallery can plug up internally. That's why they went this 1-piece design. You got a big hole, it doesn't plug up. So it's possible to have a plugged up shaft on an early motor. Or a loose one. If it's loose, the shaft, this one will pull through when you tighten that nut, and the whole bushing can come out of the motor. I've seen it happen. Update the newer shaft. Okay, so that's how you tell those parts apart. Now if you lay them all together like this, you can see what you have and what condition things are. Lifter blocks, same deal. They are all the same. The only difference they made was they made some iron ones on the 60s on the CHs and on the XLRs. Mainly it was XLR racing motor stuff. Aluminum is normal. So the same one for all 4. They all go in the same, they all work the same. If you want racing ones, you have to find them. I bought some years ago on eBay. I just found some buried over here. Oh, these are flathead ones. Excuse me. All flathead ones are cast iron. Yeah. I guess some XLR ones are upstairs. Anyway, they're made out of cast iron. So cast iron is always better than aluminum. They wear better. My race bike, I run iron ones because I run a lot of valve spring tension, a lot of RPM. So they take the abuse. They don't care. The aluminum ones wear out pretty quickly. They don't like my spring tension and my RPM. So I was changing them out every couple seasons for sure, if not every season. And then the iron ones, you put them in once and you forget about them. They don't wear out. But they're hard to come by and they're always worn out. You always gotta go 5 or 10 over on them. People never change oil when they work on them things. Alright, those are all those shafts. Shafts are all the same also, doesn't matter where they go. Same spot, doesn't matter how you put them in, doesn't matter how you install them. The oil gallery goes all around a full circle, it gets oil no matter what. You see how it's worn here, it's not worn here, mark the shaft, put that down. That'll be a new rocker arm. Rocker arm is, all the load is going up, not down. It pushes up on this side and the valve pushes on this side, so it goes up. If you want to put a shaft in it and check it, go like that. Should be nice and free. They should not be really loose up here. But like I said, that is not going to tell you if it's good or bad. I've had ones that felt really good, make all kinds of noise. I've had ones that were really, really loose. They made no noise at all. In play does not matter. And on a sports, they're spring loaded. So big twin, they have shims. Sports without springs. Doesn't matter. All right, cams. We just went through that on the other motor, but not a deal. But 1 and 3 are the same on all the motors. 2 and 4 are different. Two and 4 are double gear, 1 and 3 are single gear. So, cone motor, that means it does not have a distributor on it. It takes a point plate, one of these. This here goes on the end of it, like that. That's what holds it on there. That's why it's made that way. So that's 71 and later. 70 on back had a distributor. It had a worm gear and it was similar to this, but bigger, smaller diameter, wider, but it was on the end of the shaft here instead of this. So you have early and late number 2. This is tack drive. Tack drive came out in 71. When they got rid of the distributor, they put a tack up there. So before that, the tack was driven off the distributor shaft itself. In 71, they went to a drive. This is the drive. It drives off that gear right in the case. Boom, goes like this. Or like this, goes like that. There it is, engaged. Sits like that, drives a tack. This has a broken tack cable in there. See the cable? Broken in there. Not sure I'm going to get that out, but if nothing else, if you don't have a tack drive, at least you put this in to plug the oil hole up. Because it will leak a lot of oil out of the hole if you don't plug it. So they ran these all the way through 81. 82, they got rid of the tack drive. They actually got rid of the tack in 80 or 81. 80 or 81 they got rid of the tack, I forget. I think it was 80. So that gear was not on there, but they had the shaft. This is pressed on gear, so they have this. They have the raised part of the shaft up on the shoulder, but they didn't have the gear on it. And then in 80s, in mid 84, they went to the alternator motor. And when they went to the alternator motor, they got rid of the generator drive gear here. So they went to small gear. They had 3 small gears, only 1 big gear. Same big gear they used all the time, but they got rid of the small. They got rid of that. They just kept the small gear over here. So the number 4 cam is a small cam, like number 1 and 3 are. 1 and 3 are over here. These are your small gears. 1 has 1 timing mark, 3 has 2 timing marks. And when these go between the gears, this is what drives This is what drives them. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how they're driven. And you got timing marks on here that tell you where they go. So, like I said, you got 1 mark and 2 mark. Normally. This one's bad. Didn't have the 2 marks on it. See, this one has the 2 marks on it. Okay, so that's how the cams go. Pretty straightforward. There's a, oh, that looked like steel, but that's aluminum. Okay, so these are all cams. These are the idlers. The idlers are all the same. They drive off the number 4 right here, run up to the generator. The generator goes right here. The real early ones have the shaft is pressed in. That's on the flathead bikes, the K model. K model is a flathead Sportster, or we should say a Sportster is a flathead motor with a overhead valve motor top input on it. But anyway, a lot of the points are similar, or if not the same. Okay, so this one here, these are 57 up because they have a fixed shaft. The 56 on back to 52 had a floater shaft on it. Same diameter gear, they will interchange. They're also, a lot of them are also cut out, make them lighter. Not that Harley cared about that, but they're there. The oil pump stuff is different. I showed that in the other video. This is the early pump. Early breather, early pump body. Pump housing. That's a late pump over there. They are different. There's several different pumps, but there's 3 main categories. The lifters are all the same on these bikes, all years. They go back to 1929, first year of a flathead. 29 to 85, pretty good run. 3 variations in there, they're all interchangeable. Alright, so those are all good. We already went over Tatro. Connecting rods, these are replacement ones. So replacement on them. 52, they came out in 52. Because they fit a flathead. These are the late rods, they're solid. Early rods are machined. Go look at the other video, you'll see them. They're interchangeable. Doesn't matter which one you use, they all fit. Main shafts, 3 different main shafts. These are 71 later, they're solid, no push rod. The other 2 have push rods in them. So, if you see a hollow one, it's early. If you see a solid one, it's late. Unless you're playing on an old 900, we don't care about those. If you do, then Electric Start has the real long shaft on it, and longer than this, and the early one is short like this. So, but these have different things going on. A lot of the gears will interchange through a lot of different years, but they are different. The sprockets are all the same, just different tooth counts through 78. 79 they made the offset longer, wider. They went to a 16-inch tire in the back, so they kicked the chain over about a 16th of an inch. So if you want to put a bigger tire in your Sportster, put the later sprocket and kick the chain over. Free offset kit. Gears. Clutch gear, because the clutch goes on it. These are all the other gears. So you got 4 dog, 4 dog, 4 dog, 5 dog, no dog. So clutch gear goes there. Counter shaft drive gear drives the counter shaft. This is the counter shaft. This is the main shaft. Counter shafts are same from 54 to 84 and a half. Yeah. I think that's when they changed. They also went to where you couldn't buy the parts separate in 84 also. So this will fit up in the lower ears if you just put the earlier gears on it. It works. So this is the left side, this is the right side. 4 dogs go on counter shaft. 5 dog goes on main shaft. See how the gears look the same? 27 tooth. Look the same. 4 dog, 5 dog. Flat. Got raised up area a little bit. So this here rubs against the clutch gear over here. So it goes right there. This one here does not go there. It goes over here. So it doesn't go there because that's 2 big gears. It has to go here. Okay, these are 4 dog. These are both counter shaft. So these go over here. See the dogs? They go like that. Like that, see? So they go together. Goes that way. That one goes the opposite way. Okay. These are extra in case you break them. The other one we're missing. It's right here. Here is your 5 dog. See, it's got 5 dogs. Looks like that one, but it's got 5 dogs. Also, this one here is countersunk in here. This one's flat. So that goes right there like that. See, that goes inside your clutch gear. This goes in your case. This is your low gear. Low gear over here is a little stinky gear. Don't have one out. Don't know where it is. Didn't see it in the other bike either. Think we're missing low gear. Yeah. Now we're bringing up the subject. Yeah, we're missing low gear. We're also missing the cam drive gear. This is the one that goes in the crank. It goes on this cam here. It drives right there. It's almost the same as the generator gear, but different. A little bit. It's very similar, but it's different. This one goes here. So we're missing some parts. Missing low gear. Up. Here's a low gear. Right there. There's our low gear. 4 dog. We're going to need that for the other bike. This actually looks okay. Looks good. Goes right there. There you go. So the way these work, first, skip that one second, go back to that one for third, and you go into fourth. So you got low gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear. Fourth gear is direct drive. So as long as you have that gear and one shift fork, you can race your bike. You need the main shaft too. You don't need any of those other gears.